Let's talk all about AI in business. It's hosted by Brent Muller. Welcome to the Future Proof Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to Future Proof, the podcast where we're decoding how founders, leaders, and execs are reshaping the business landscape with data, AI, and automation. So if you're looking to future-proof your business, you're definitely in the right place. Before we start, as always, here at Deploy AI, we said if you're just looking to where to start with AI, we're happy to have a 30-minute conversation with you. There's links in the show notes. No pitch. We're just here to help. And so jump on a call with us. We're happy to talk through it. But let's jump into today's episode. I'm joined by Damon Harman from StreamerDap. So Damon, thank you for joining us and spending some time with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So as we always do, let's start with kind of your background, the leader's journey.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so my background is quite diverse, but always been in content. Started, I guess it's been about 30 years ago as a producer director in commercials and music videos and stuff. Moved into reality television. But everything that I did was always branded. Coming from commercials, obviously you're working with brands and agencies. But my first reality show that I sold back in 2001, 2002, it was a reality dating show, but we actually brought a brand in and leveraged one of their products. It was actually Motorola to use their two-way pager as part of the format of the show. So I've always had brands at the forefront of when I create something, I think who could integrate into this nicely, because ultimately brands can help fund shows. But it was in 2020 during the pandemic that a lot of my contacts in the traditional television and entertainment industry started finding themselves working for digital platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and then also even Facebook gaming at the time. And they were heads of these departments, and they needed somebody to that actually knew how to produce content, and not just the stuff that you're seeing on live streams that's maybe somebody playing a game or podcast setting or chatting, but like how do we develop formats for this live stream space? And so 2020 I got into this world during the pandemic, kind of forced into it, so to speak, and learned everything I could about it. And so that the background led me to this, but basically I'm still doing branded content after all these years, just on a different platform.
Yeah, amazing. So talk to us about both StreamerDap now and your parent company, because you serve two different audiences, but basically for the same purpose.
Yeah, definitely. So, we started off as an agency, a creative agency. Integrated Content Agency is the parent company. And, I like to say it's extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, because we're working with the top 1% content creators, specifically on Twitch and YouTube. And we're sort of packaging them in old television style into formats that we then go and get a brand to support. And, there's ways to integrate the brand into the content. But, obviously they're going to have their logos on the screen and a link in chat and things of that nature. But again, these are brands that have big budgets, because, we do anywhere from 10 to 24 episode series across the year. And then we're working with the top creators who have the top audiences, because again, that budget is so big, you need lots of viewership to justify the spend. And while that is a very rewarding business, it's difficult to scale. And so the more clients we get, the bigger the projects are, the more people we need, but the margins stay the same. And so on top of that, we're threading a very thin needle. Our sales department is going after clients that can afford 7-figure price tags on a campaign when maybe they're not even familiar with this space yet. So after reviewing the data and looking at that and trying to find solving a sales problem of where to fish, so to speak, what we realized is we were whale hunting and we weren't getting any fish in the boat. So we'd spend all this time on the line with the whale, and if that line snapped, bam, you just lost 8-9 months of a sales cycle trying to close a multi-million-dollar deal. And so I said, the one thing I realized with brands was we'd do all this amazing creative and this amazing format. And at the end of the day, all they really cared about was how large was my logo, how long was it on the screen, and did we get enough chat links it clicked. And so I thought, well, what if I just created a platform that did just that and cut all the messy part out of it? And so StreamerDap started with the idea that let's go after that 99% of the market of brands who they may have large budgets, but they want to dip their toe in the water and test this market. And creators that are of any size, but generally the underserved creator who doesn't have an audience large enough to get a brand deal. No agency's really going to try to represent them. And so how do I serve that market? And obviously the answer was technology. And StreamerDap was born.
So for the people out there thinking, wow, that sounds like that's up my alley, walk somebody through kind of what StreamerDap does. And so the people in the audience start to get their heads
Mind
around
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So StreamerDap, it starts off as like a matchmaking platform, swipe left, swipe right, so to speak. Essentially, a creator joins the platform. They put in all of their information, category, their demo, their audience demo, all that stuff. And then a brand would do the same thing. So they have profiles. And so they search through categories. Both sides can do the same thing. And ultimately, when they find brands that they want to work with, they DAP them. So just like the DAP, right? So they send a DAP. If the brand DAPs back or vice versa, a match is made. And then at that point, when the brand is setting up campaigns, they can now invite from that pool of creators that they've DAPed with, that they've matched with. So that's the date, so to speak. You've matched, now you're going on the date. And so the campaign happens, and ultimately what our platform does is it automates that entire process. It handles the negotiations, it handles the rates. It's a two-way marketplace. You know, the brand can choose their CPM based on, you know, their KPIs, and they make offers. But if the creators think the offers are too low, they just don't accept it. And there's plenty of others out there that may. But we don't set pricing. We essentially say, here's the opportunity. And then once that campaign launches, all of the assets that go on the screen, whether it be a logo, a banner, an animated GIF, and the special offer copy and the link in chat, any call to actions, things of that nature, all that's automated. So the creator literally doesn't have to do anything except for hit a few buttons on their dashboard. And for the brand, it's all automated, including billing to the brand or the agency, as well as payments to the creators. And we have full, transparent, real-time data, KPIs on everything from views to clicks to the cost per click to everything, that impressions and what CPM they paid versus what was delivered. And it's all automated. So they can run, you know, we could get you set up right now, and within an hour you could be running a campaign.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. That's technology at its best right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're loving it. And what I love about it is I get the contrast every day. I'm transitioning full-time over as the CEO to StreamerDap, and we definitely have my exit plan as we staff up on the integrated side to manage my previous duties. But I get to see the contrast every day of this we just did a finale of a show yesterday. We had over 55 live streams co-streaming the content across Twitch and YouTube, as well as X. And like I said, it's fun work coming from my background. It's production, it's creative, it's drama, it's this creator has an issue with this thing and all this stuff. And obviously I'm looking at the numbers and making sure we hit our KPIs. But on the StreamerDap side, while we're speaking right now, we have 36 campaigns running, and I don't have to do anything. I can just look at the dashboard and see all the campaigns running and check in on them. But it's a complete different lifestyle.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. I love it. Well, you've earned it, right? So
yeah, exactly. Thanks to technology.
Yes, exactly. So Damon, talk to us about that. We talked a little bit before the podcast, but talk to the audience about the shift that you're seeing, not just streaming, but just in content generation, creation, and brand growth, right, in general.
Yeah.
Over the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we work with, you know, what we'd say the famous content creators, where content creation is what they do for a living. But what I'm going through right now, and I think other founders should think about this strategically, is personal branding and building your own brand and creating your own content to help, you know, create awareness for your company, but also to help drive sales. And so 3 months ago, we actually hired a personal branding team, social media team for me, because I never felt, we always put the client first, right? And we take the back seat. And our business is like, you know, it's business posts and things that, you know, are not entertaining. And I wouldn't say is informational. It's more like, this is our business. Call us if you need some help. Right. And what you're allowed to do in this space when it's personal branding as a CEO, founder, or even head of sales, marketing, whatever, if you're putting yourself out there with some of these key messages that you're probably doing every day with your internal team, but now you're putting it out there in the world, you can begin to develop a relationship with would-be buyers today. And that relationship grows for 6, 7, 8 months, because we all know in sales, most of the time, 85% of the time, 90% of the time, your prospect is not ready to buy today. So social media allows you to have a conversation without having to have a conversation with, whatever your scale is, 50,000, 100,000 people. And it helps your sales pipeline.
100%. So just to make sure that we cover this, because you were talking about before, but talk about the internal clip that got out that helped you close the sale.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we all do now, everybody works remote. I don't think I could get my team to an office if I tried at this point, but we do a lot. We do a lot of Google Meets and Zoom, whatever, Teams meetings, whatever it is. And, there'll be 6 or 7 of us on the call. And so what sparked for me and what caused me to say, okay, it's time, because I had a lot of resistance to me putting myself out there online. Mainly, and I think a lot of founders
I did too,
this.
Damon. So I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us have imposter syndrome, right? We think we're always living on the edge. We're trying to make the next thing happen. We're looking in the rear view and thinking, that's not the stuff I want to talk about, because the better stuff's coming, right? But anyways, it was a Zoom call that happened, and I went on my, the team calls it a Damon TED Talk, and was making some points and, rebuttals on different things the sales team was hearing. And I found myself at a conference a few months later talking with a group of guys, and they said, I heard you talk about this before. And I said, where did you hear that? And he says, oh, it's some clip I saw. And so anyways, he ended up sending it to me. And actually, it was a sales guy from one of our internal meetings took a clip of what I was saying and sent it to a prospect and said, here's what our founder says about that topic. I just lost my camera.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, cool. And so anyways, it was a clip that he sent, and he said, hey, here's a clip from our founder. This is what he says about that topic. And so that's when I realized, this isn't really about me, even though it's a personal brand. It's about the health of the business and helping all sales channels by doing some pre-selling, because ultimately I don't have time to be on all those sales calls. Social media helps you do that at scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So along those lines, right, as we start to think about how emerging tech, especially AI, is going to influence all of this, but nothing more than content, right? Mm-hmm. Where does it fit in? What are you guys seeing, right, with StreamerDap, and then how are you embracing it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that we've built our product is, during our alpha test, we get feedback from clients, and during our beta, we're doing the same thing. And I'm sorry, are you recording my camera?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can go back. Don't sweat it, Damon. Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, cool. I just wish I could get it to go back to focus. I'm really sorry. Technology, exactly. Sometimes it's too smart for itself. Yeah, that's a bummer. Normally I just turn it on and turn it off and it goes back. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And what was the question?
Yeah, I was saying.
AI.
Yeah, AI. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great question. As it relates to AI, we're building the product features for our clients. And so we get that feedback and we build things that we know is a good product market fit. One of them that came up that kind of surprised us was, when brands are sponsoring streamers or doing this branded content, there's an agency involved, and we do a lot of vetting and making sure the creators are brand safe and making sure that they actually stay within the parameters of the brand practices, right? And so how do you do that at scale when a brand is now matching with 500 creators and releasing this campaign across 500 channels simultaneously? Who's monitoring that? Who's watching that? And what happens if there's an infraction? So we heard that loud and clear, and we realized AI can help solve this. So what we did is we just hired a full AI team, and they're building it's under brand safety parameters. They're building it out so that a brand can come on, put in their brand safety and their brand guidelines for a creator. And let's say that, as an example, this creator is generally talking about business. Let's just say that.
Yep.
And for some reason, there's something timely that comes on the news that's political, but the brand that's sponsoring this is saying, hey, nothing political. You can't talk about politics. Okay. So AI will hear that, and it's going to be watching and listening. And if there's within an 80% chance that this is correct and it's breaching those guidelines, it removes the media from the screen, removes the links in chat. And so then the brand is essentially not a part of the moment where this political talk was happening. Right. And that's a game changer, because some of the large agencies that we're talking about, everybody's concerned about brand safety at scale.
Right.
So AI is the answer to that. And we did a proof of concept about a month ago, and it works. You put in all the different things that the brand is saying stay away from. Yep. And whether it's a visual on the screen or audible or in chat, it detects it within 80% certainty, strikes the media.
That's fantastic. We built that into our content platform, but not into the media part. That's really, really slick.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're excited. It should be ready in October. I laugh as I say that because we all know what happens.
Yeah. Although I will say with AI, I think we're shrinking our delay windows, yes. Right?
well, you know what's crazy is that now to add to that, so we actually had an issue. We were testing out some Google campaigns, and we had never had this many streamers live in a campaign concurrently, simultaneously, because we kept it small intentionally. We're controlling the supply and demand. We don't want to have more creators than we have brands to feed them. Right. And so it's a balancing act until we actually do our 1.0 launch. And right. So we brought in these Google campaigns, which everybody was excited about. And so we had like 700 plus streamers concurrently live all at the same time. And we literally melted the platform. We broke it. Which is great because, right. Better to know now during a test campaign.
Absolutely. Right.
So we broke it. And now that would normally be about 2 weeks to fix. But because of AI, we were able to go in, look at our code. It turns out it wasn't a server thing, so we can't blame AWS. It was inefficiency in code. And so essentially we went in, AI was able to very rapidly tell us how to make the code more efficient, therefore speed up the platform, and therefore allow more concurrent viewers to happen simultaneously. And we did that in 2 days. It happened on a Wednesday, and by Friday afternoon, we were live and we couldn't break it. So we need more. We need to do more. We need to break it again.
That's fantastic. and you think about, right, a problem like that could have in the past taken months.
Oh,
right? Yeah, because again, sometimes they're not easy fixes. The ability for AI to crunch through that and shrink that down to 2 days is the type of problems that we always highlight on this podcast about your use cases, right? So that's a great use case for you of how do you make a tremendous impact, right? And shrink windows down. And, we've had so many good use cases and we just say, look, you need to think through what are those big levers that cost you time, effort, money, right? And then that's where you attack. So that's just, Damon, that's a great use case.
And by the way, that doesn't take anything away from the development team and engineers that we have. As a matter of fact,
we'll work on something better.
Exactly. Because they actually don't want to fix that.
Right.
They
want to fix performance problems.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody wants to build the next feature. And it's like, so I always said, when ChatGPT first came out, I said, wow, this is the best assistant that I've never been able to find because it doesn't argue, right? and it literally, you have to be very specific. Bad input equals bad output.
100%
and so
correct.
I don't think a random person can actually get out of AI, or I don't want to say random, but maybe somebody who doesn't have the skill set is not going to get out of AI what a highly skilled professional can get because they know how to speak to it in a manner that's going to give it great output. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss is that this isn't a replacement for high-level thinking humans. This is an enhancement tool.
This is how to make your really good employees 3 to 5 times better, right? More efficient because they can they can figure out how to solve mundane problems that they don't want to work on using AI, right? So that they get good at that stuff. And I think it's fantastic.
Well, also too, when you put something in and it comes out the way you didn't expect it, what you realize is you're the problem. You didn't communicate it properly yet. And I think in human relationships, we have that issue, but you're not called out on it as easily. And so it takes longer time for you to even understand that feedback loop that what I'm saying, I think is correct, but it's not being absorbed properly. But with AI, you instantly know because it is going to give you something that instantly does it. Like, that's not what I was looking for. And it's like, well, AI didn't make the mistake. You gave it bad input.
I couldn't agree more. Talk to us now about, as you look down the next 1 to 2 years, I don't think anybody can look past 18 months. It's changing too fast. What do you see happening? How's the landscape going to change? Because I feel like you're in such a needed and massive growth area, because I think the number of channels are opening up, right? Yeah, people weren't talking about Twitch a couple of years ago, right? And look, right now it's a platform. TikTok is exploding, right? And once they fix all the privacy things, like, to me, that's just going to continue to grow. So the number of places that your customers live is growing, which means content has to be syndicated, right? But that's just part of it. Content creators really need to be, like you said, growing your personal brand, just expanding. So we're just going to have more and more content. AI is going to proliferate. So I say all that to say, Damon, where's it going? And what do people need to be worried about or embracing? Or embracing. I like the positive glass half full.
Yeah. No, I think that anytime, so specifically, I mean, as a content creator, I think that AI can help you with some efficiency tools. We have the luxury, when we work with big creators, they have a team for everything, right? And even like with me as a busy CEO and a founder, when I said it's time to do social media, I'm not out here shooting this content. I'm not editing it and posting schedules. Oh, it's funny. My dad the other day said, hey, I saw that he sent a quote that I said via text, and I just wrote a question mark. Like, what are you saying? And he says, your clip today that you posted. And I'm like, I didn't post it. I don't remember saying that. And, and it's just like at scale. So I think that for smaller creators and smaller business owners, you don't have the ability to hire this big team to handle a lot of things that AI can help you with. I mean, even to the point of, like, you've got creators that will go do a long form piece of live content, but ultimately for them to really grow and get maximum value out of that content, they need to now edit that down, make it a long YouTube, to pull good moments, make it YouTube Shorts, put it on TikTok, Instagram Reels, so on and so forth. Well, that's a full-time job. But there are tools now where AI can go in and you set the parameters and it'll start auto clipping things, putting it in a little folder, creating a clip. And then, you can even go so far as to say that it could potentially also add some graphics and different things that you needed to do. So I think that as bootstrapping entrepreneurs or even bigger companies that have departments of people who are taxed because they've got so much to do, I think AI is just, if you lean into it, I think AI is what's going to allow everyone to be 10 times or greater faster at everything that they do. And fast doesn't necessarily mean the quality's bad. It's actually quite the opposite. I think humans get in our own way when we have tasks that are mundane that we really just kind of want to put off to the side. AI can help with all of that.
I agree. And I think it allows us to focus more on the important things.
The stuff AI can't do. I mean, what we know is... Sorry.
No, 100%. So as you look down the road for StreamerDap, right? Tell us about the outlook, right? Because I feel like you're really onto something, and I think I haven't seen anything like this, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, honestly, we built this business to fix, to fill a void, to fix a problem. I mean, we are integrated content agents.
101, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. An integrated content agency as a certified Twitch and Amazon, ads agency. We have been asking for Amazon to build a product similar to this for years, but it's the difference between scrappy entrepreneur versus in-house people that work for a company that's vesting their stock options. People don't want to rock the boat, right? And so for us, we just thought, you know what? Why don't we just build it? And, build it off the ecosystem of what they have and give it a test. And so that's what we did. We're partnering with Twitch. So there's some things that I can't talk about yet, but we're really close. That's going to allow us to scale much quicker, both with revenue as well as creators. And we're also looking to YouTube. Within 6 weeks of development, we could, we started with Twitch first because that's where a lot of the live streamers are. Right. And then YouTube is growing in that really area. They're always been the biggest in content, but they're growing, and TikTok's like number 2. So as we expand to those other platforms, we get different types of creators. It's going to look very exciting for us. But we built this thing with the idea of exiting, right? So we're building this. We want to hockey stick the revenue and ultimately be acquired. So, we'll see how quickly that can happen. In regards to like the AI in the future as well for StreamerDap, I talked about brand safety and some efficiency things, but we're also seeing a thing happen where we talk to an agency and they're all excited about the platform. We love it, but I don't want to run this thing. We don't have anybody on our team. We can't allocate time, bandwidth, all that stuff. And so what we've realized is there's a need for managed services. And so for right now, integrated content is managing the services of the platform for a client. But that's, to be honest with you, something AI can do.
It can, for sure.
Because now it's like, hey, here's our thoughts on who you should match with, and here's why. And AI will have all the data, and it can say, hey, based on your last 10 campaigns, here's the creators that did the best, analyzing the data that a human could do, but it's going to do it instantly, and say, for your next campaign, we recommend removing these creators, adding these creators, and putting more budget towards that. And so that's what integrated content would be doing. That's what an agency would be doing. But now you can have AI, and I think we're even going to call it like DAP AI. It's like the easy button.
Exactly, the easy button. I love that. Wow, Damon, thank you so much for all of your insights. I can't wait to, StreamerDap is definitely something that our company is going to look deep into, because we're content creators in a different way as well. And any podcaster is. But I think this is really, really cool. And I can't wait to see how this thing grows over the next 6 and 12 months.
Well, we should schedule a check-in and we'll tell you the milestones we hit.
Absolutely. Yes. Or missed. Yeah. It's great. But Damon, tell everybody how to get, how to check StreamerDap out, get in touch. I mean, we'll put links below the show notes, but sure. Tell them.
I mean, StreamerDap.com is the website. Whether you're an agency, talent agency, or a media agency, you can join our waiting list. And then from there, we'll get an email, and then we can get you on for our beta test, which is happening for the rest of the summer. And integratedcontentagency.com is for the big branded stuff. So if you got a big budget out there, or you got a brand that wants to get in this space in a big way with the top creators, that would be the place you'd go. And our team can build a campaign for you and do something exciting in this space.
That's fantastic. This is really exciting. Well, Damon, thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing your insights and talking to us all about content creation and matchmaking on this. This is fantastic. So thanks.
And AI.
And
the future.
AI, right. Absolutely. So guys, that wraps up this episode of Future Proof. Exactly why you listen to this podcast is for guests like Damon to figure out where AI fits in, how it is being adapted across every single platform and industry across the business landscape. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on tomorrow's episode. Bye, guys.
If you're ready to embrace change and lead with innovation, be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Future Proof Podcast.